Nurses is getting sued left and right. And you over here mad because the nurse punched out the pills in the wrong spot. In the little pill box, the little thing, the little card. You being petty about that. Come on, y'all. We can do better. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. You mad because she thick and she got on some tight scrubs. You mad because she just got her BBL. You mad at her? You mad at her? You mad at her? You can get one too. Okay? What's up, fam? So I just had my last day of clinical. Last day of clinicals. It's definitely sinking in that everything is coming to the end. And I'm just so grateful for it. But what I wanted to come on here and talk about real quick is, and I was going to do a whole little sit down video with y'all and, go through all of it. But y'all, I want to talk about how toxic nursing is. And especially with, I've been getting a few of you all reaching out to me being like, what do you think about these nurses getting sued and not going to jail and all of this, and because of mistakes that have been made or deaths that have happened to patients under their care? Like, what do you think of that? How is it, how do you feel about going into nursing at this time? How do you think I should feel about going into nursing? So some of y'all have been reaching out to me. And of course, nursing is a very risky job. People don't show you how crazy it is when they post on Instagram, right? Or when they do a funny video on TikTok. It's not, you don't always see it, and there's so many different sectors of nursing that you think that where you're at might be crazy. And then you hear about somebody else and you're like, oh my gosh. So, for example, like med-surg, you might have 10 patients in your med-surg or your med-surg floor and be like, that was horrible, that was crazy, like I was super busy, I couldn't get anything done, I couldn't take a break, I couldn't do that. And then you'll hear a nurse in long-term care. Last night I didn't even count how many patients I had. I just know I had a lot. I had like 40 plus patients. I think I had 3 CNAs, and I had a fall. I had a patient come from a different floor to my floor. This happened like maybe 6 o'clock. They're like, oh, we have to transfer such and such over here because they have to get an IV, and they have to be on this floor in order to get IV fluids. I'm like, seriously? That doesn't make any sense, but whatever. So I had to call the IV nurse. I had to get the patient's room together because there was no bed over there. So we had to call for that, do all this extra stuff. I had to tell the CNA. Once the patient came over there, I had to get the patient up, clean. The patient is combative, fighting us, resisting care. So I'm like, seriously? Then they're like, oh, we got to get an IV. So I called the IV nurse, got the IV nurse out there. And then as we're going through this, mind you, I'm agency. So I know some of these patients, but at the end of the day, I don't know them. And then I'm thinking about it. I'm like, why are we getting an IV on a combative, dehydrated patient? This is going to be the hardest freaking IV ever. Why are we doing this? And by the time because I had other stuff to do, I also had a patient on hospice that was actively going. So I'm with that patient, with that patient's family, trying to be as attentive as possible to that patient. And I still have 40 plus patients that I'm taking care of. So anyhow, I'm doing all this. Then I'm like, we just need to do the hypodermoclysis, which is basically a subcutaneous infusion of fluids. So if you're not doing what do you call them? Antibiotics or something like that, you could just do a hypodermoclysis, put in a sub-Q like in the fat or the back of the arm, like the tricep, and they can get rehydrated that way. So I was like, let's just do that because it's literally just boom, needle, clean it, needle, cover it up real good, and then let it hang, let it run through. It's gonna run real slow, but they're gonna get hydrated. That's like the thing for elderly patients. But anyways, so It was crazy. So that's a crazy night to me. Another crazy night could be a nurse working peds and they have 4 patients, because usually with peds you don't have a lot of patients, because it's very like they don't play when it comes to babies, right? Like, we don't want to be short staffed with babies. We want to make sure we can really take care of these children, not just babies, because peds is not just babies, which I get what I'm saying. So that you might have an ICU nurse that it'll be really hard for them if they maybe had 3 patients and no tech. Like, things are going to be crazy wherever you're at. But one of the things about nursing that makes it toxic is that we have this thing in nursing where it's like, my night was worse than your night, or I had such a crazy night, or this happened or this happened. It's like we love to exchange these war stories. And I get it, because it's part of what I think drives us as nurses, is that even though I had all of this shit I had to deal with, I still dealt with it. I still made it through, and I'm still here. Like, that's part of it, is that I think it's wired in nurses, at least bedside nurses, that there's this thing, even management too, y'all. It's just this thing that we like to overcome, like adversity. And that's part of what's in us, is because you are a human with your own human needs. And for you to come outside of yourself and take care of several other human beings, plus staff underneath you, plus staff that you're working with, plus management, plus families, plus doctors, plus other interdisciplinary, let's just say the interdisciplinary team. I don't know what, I couldn't get it out. But you're dealing with all of that, and you still have you still have to eat, drink, go to the bathroom. You got ish at home you're dealing with, but you're still showing up to take care of people and do what needs to be done. So there is a sense of like, like hero energy that's ingrained in nurses that like keep us going. Is because we're like, we did it. I did it. Like, I'm that nurse. Like, I made that happen. Like, I accomplished that. Which I think is great for us to have that. But then again, on the flip side, it can become toxic, because like I said, it becomes this thing where my situation is worse than you, or why are you complaining because I got this going on? You know, the CNAs will complain to the nurses about how many, because it's hard out here for CNAs. We have not even talked about that. I need to talk about that in a separate video. But y'all, I would not want to be a CNA right now, y'all. It's hard for them. It's not a lot of CNAs and techs out here right now. But I'm gonna have to do a separate video about that. But anyhow, because I want to give y'all space, my CNAs and my patient care techs, and my STNAs. In other states, I think it's called STNAs. Am I right? I don't know. I think in Ohio they have that acronym. But anyhow, there is, we just have it where it's, some of us may or may not have compassion for our patients, right? But when it comes to compassion for each other, like, sometimes it's not there, because it's just like, well, I had a horrible night too, or I've had worse nights than that. It's just, it becomes like that thing. And also it becomes this thing where we feel like we have to keep wanting up each other. Like, that's why I say it's toxic, because I feel like it's better to be like, I had a good night, I had a great team, I was able to get this done, I was able to get that done. Like, man, all my patients, I feel like I really had a lot of time with them, with their family. Like, I was able to be relaxed, I took my break, I stayed hydrated throughout my shift, things were organized, all the doctors, I was able to talk to them and get what I needed from them. Like, we don't celebrate those nights. We celebrate the crazy-ish, and we talk about it over and over, and we complain about it over and over. Second reason nursing is toxic. There is a lot. I will tell you, there is a lot of complaining in nursing. You can always find something wrong in nursing. And that's another thing. I feel like nurses have it ingrained in them, especially a certain zodiac sign of nurses. Virgos have it ingrained in them to nitpick and be like, oh, well, that didn't happen. Oh, well, look at this. Or, oh, because nurses, we have to be observant. We have to observe, verbal and non-verbal signs of communication, signs of pain, signs of agitation, signs of things escalating, signs of things changing. So we are naturally trained to observe the situation, people, and to make judgments on people and on the situation, which can sometimes be skewed into a negative light. It can make us come off like we're completely always like critiquing things and critiquing each other, and nothing is ever good enough. And sometimes, you all, that energy steeps into your life with your partner, with your kids, with yourself. Keep in mind, the people that are harder on other people, they're probably 10 times harder on themselves. You have to always keep that in mind, you know? Trust me. So that's another thing that kind of becomes toxic about nursing, is that it can be very negative, you all, because it's stressful. It's stressful. And sometimes the best way to deal with stress is people, they just talk about all the BS that's happening, and they vent and they vent and they vent. This is why I try my best at work to really thank the people that I'm working with, my CMTs, my techs, all of them. Like, thank you so much for your help tonight. Thanks for doing this. Like, one night I worked, it was crazy as hell. Oh my gosh, I forgot all about, I didn't even do a video about that night. It wasn't even that long ago, but I was tired. And I stayed over, and the dang old facility didn't even pay me all my money, which I'm pissed about. I need to call them. But anyways, I stayed till like midnight. Oh gosh. Anyways, so, and the aide, like, she was there with me like the whole time. Like, we was just like working in tandem. I feel like, even though we weren't doing a whole lot of stuff together, we were like, I could just tell, like, she was on top of it just like I was on top of it. And I was so appreciative of her, and I wish I could have did more to help her, like with her part of the job, like cleaning people, turning people, doing all that. I just had so much to do on my side, and I didn't know any of the patients. Like, this is my first time working on that side in like a few months, and of course the patients changed, so I didn't really know anybody. And I had families coming in, I had certain stuff happening, I had to send somebody out, and it was just a lot going on. I had doctor come in there asking questions. I'm like, I don't freaking know, so I got to stop and, you know, pay attention to what this doctor wants. But the aide was right there with me, and I was just so appreciative of this aide, y'all. Like, oh my gosh. And she was like, yeah, like, me and you, it's just been so crazy. I said, I know. I said, thank you so much. I don't know if I would have been able to make it through this day without you. Like, for real, because it was like, every time I turned around, something was going on. And like, she was there, like, doing her job, y'all. Like, oh my gosh, I was so appreciative of that. But if we only focus on, oh, my night was so horrible, oh, this happened, oh, it's like, okay, I get it, it sucks, this is stressful as hell, but we can find something within that shift that was positive. Maybe all of your patients stayed up, they didn't fall. I had a patient fall that day. They fell right at the start of the shift. Nobody witnessed it, and they were confused, so I had to do vitals every 15. It was a lot. Anyways, maybe it could be nobody fell, or nobody had to get sent out, or everybody, I don't know, everybody's vital signs are normal. You can find something to be like, this was a positive in it, or I learned this today, or, you know, or at least I was able to take my lunch. At least I drank my full water bottle. At least whatever, I left on time. Find even just the smallest little nugget of like positivity that you can find to get you through it, because it's gonna be some nights where you go home and you're like, what did I do today? Like, yeah, I was busy, I was crazy as hell, but like, I don't feel like I nursed anybody today. I just slapped some cream on a few folks, gave some pills, and did a shitload of paperwork. Like, who did I help? Who did I connect with? Like, who did I actually nurse? Y'all get what I'm saying? Like, who did I pour myself into? Like, did I at least show any human to human interaction? Sometimes you don't have that. And I feel like for a lot of people who go into nursing, like, yes, there's the adrenaline junkies. I'm one of them. I'm kind of into that type of stuff. Yes, there's the people who just are so excited. They just want to do surgery, and they just want to see what's going on. No connection. They like, oh my gosh, you know, but they feel like they did something for the patient. They did something that was just like beyond, I don't know. Sometimes you just feel like I did something that was just beyond what I can chart. You know, you can't chart that you sat and you held your patient's hand. you could, but you know, that's not gonna, you can't, maybe you can bill somebody for that, I don't know. But the things that are beyond just the, you know, the clicking and all that and the billable hours, right? Beyond the ICDT, what is it? ICDC college, ICD-10 codes, things that are beyond that, where you feel like, man, I gave my patient at least 5 minutes to just talk about whatever they wanted to talk about. And I sat there and listened to them and they said, oh, well, thanks for talking to me. I know you're busy. I'll let you go. Like, you had some type of human connection with people. Like, yeah, that is so important. I cannot emphasize that enough. And I really want to get back to that. I miss being a CNA because I used to have so much time for my patients. Yes, it was busy. Yes, it was crazy. Yes, I felt like I'm at the bottom of the top totem pole. I'm not getting paid nothing. I'm overworked. Nobody appreciates what I'm doing. But I had so many patients that I loved them. Why am I getting emotional? Cancer crap, cancer gang. And it's like, once I became a nurse, like, I still had that, but it was so different. Like, I'm like tethered to the desk doing paperwork because I don't want to be sued, or because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get a call from the state. Like, I don't want to put my license in jeopardy. Like, I don't want to mess up. And it's like you're not able to just yeah, you're just not able to connect with people, and it's really sad. Hold on, y'all. Okay, had to get myself together. And it's like, now that I'm doing this video, like, that's why I tell you, sometimes I tell you, like, y'all my therapy for real. Me talking to myself on the phone, it's therapy. You should try it. And I feel like, once again, that energy bleeds into your personal life, because you got to think about it. You're spending 8 hours, 12 hours, sometimes 16 hours in this mode. You're in this mode of complaining, looking at the negative, being overworked, being stressed, comparing yourself to other people and what they're doing and what they should be doing. And, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You're on edge. You're constantly like putting yourself in the back burner to take care of what needs to be taken care of, because it's not about you, it's about what you're here to do and to take care of. And I'm really realizing as I talk, that's why I think I got emotional, is because, like, that's what, like, that's how I've become, like, with my kids and, like, with my husband. Like, that's the type of person I've become with my kids and my husband. Like, okay, I gotta get this done, I gotta do this, like, just focusing on the task and not always taking a second to just not taking the time to just be there, to be present, and to, like, enjoy your life. And it's so crazy how your job, your career, like, if you really look at it, sometimes it does bleed into your personal life. And that's why I really just want to take this break. I'm taking this break from healthcare because I don't want to lose that connection with my kids. I don't want to lose that connection with my kids. I don't want to lose that connection with my husband. And I just feel like, you know, it can easily happen. It can easily happen. And I can easily become jaded by all of this, because you do give of yourself so much. And then you still feel like, I didn't do enough. You know, you just feel like crap. Let me not say you, like, I feel like crap sometimes when I leave work, because I'm just like, what did I do? Like, I didn't do anything with these people. Like, especially when you work in long-term care, like, Nobody cares about the elderly. Like, nobody cares about old people. It's so crazy. I'm not trying to get emotional, but like, geriatric nursing right now is horrible. It's horrible, y'all. Like, it's so sad. Like, I used to think it was bad, but yeah, long-term care nursing is so crazy. I cannot wait to get out of it, and I feel bad about leaving, because I love geriatric patients. Like, I love the elderly population, but it's just not enough help, and people have changed. You know, people's standard of care have changed. Yeah, it just has changed so much. And I've only been a nurse for 7 years. You know, I've only worked in healthcare for like 8 or 9 years, and it's just changed so much. And you just feel like, man, like, I just want to do more for them. But you know, you get burnt out. You get so burnt out in healthcare. And I know I'm kind of talking about the negatives and all that, but I mean, you got to be for real. You got to be honest. There is a lot of good stuff, because it's like, you'll take care of a patient, they'll come in half dead. And it's like, through therapy and nursing and all of this, like, they're going home and they're doing good and they're walking and they're eating now and they did this, and you know, they're off the tube feeding. And that, you know, it doesn't happen all the time, especially in geriatrics. A lot of them, like, they become long-term care patients, and that is what it is. But so there is good and bad in it, and there is a lot of reward. But my cautionary tale to all of you is to take some time to assess you. Make sure that you're not allowing the job and the innate, because we get into that prototype, you know, we get into that, I don't want to say prototype, we get into that mode, like I said, where we just, it can just bleed into the other parts of your life. And when you feel like that's happening, switch it up. You know, this is not my first video I did in my car crying. Switch it up. You know, I got a video I was talking about, like, I don't want to do nursing at all, you know. So that's part of the reason why I do YouTube, because I love connecting with people. Like, I love to feel like my presence makes a difference. I love to feel like I said something, I did something that helped a person to feel better about themselves, about life, about what they want to accomplish, what they're able to accomplish. Like, to me, that gives me so much life to just see a person like glow when I'm around, or a person just be like, you know what, I should do that, or a person be like, hey, I did what you told me to do, and I'm doing, like, that makes me so happy, because I feel like, you know, that's what we're here to do, is to help each other. And all of us do it in our own way. But sometimes in healthcare, we get so far away from that because of insurance. Insurance is like the killer of a nurse's, like, fantasy of what life is gonna be like. I'm telling you, because insurance is how everybody's getting paid. Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance, that's how we're getting, that's how we're able to do our job, you know. So, and I think the reason I'm also getting emotional, because we are coming to the end. We only got 4 more weeks of school left. We got 5 tests. I have 7 days of preceptorship. I thought I had 8, but it's 7 days of preceptorship. I got a mock code to do. I got 3 days of ATI training, and we're done. It sounds like a lot in 4 weeks, but that's what I got, and I'll be done. But I think I'm getting emotional because, like, we were just talking about what everybody's doing after school, and it was cool, like, to talk about what everybody's gonna get into and what everybody's doing. And I'm just thinking, like, I'm excited, but I'm also tired. I've been working the whole time I've been in nursing school, and I'm exhausted right now, you know. And I just want to do better for my family, for myself, and then in the future for my clients, my patients. Like, I want to be a better nurse. And I know I can do it. And I want to be a better nurse. Like, I don't want to just go there and do what I got to do and leave. Like, no, I really want to be in a position where I can excel as a nurse. So I kind of feel like, damn it, am I going to be able to do that? Like, because it seems like sometimes the system is not set up for us to do well. let me get back to the topic, like why nursing is toxic. Another reason why nursing can be toxic is because management. You know, I think this is probably the case with a lot of industries, a lot of jobs in general. Management, they suck. Like, nobody wants to be a nurse manager, right? And the people who do, they delegate a lot of their stuff. Don't get me wrong, I've come across some really great nurse managers, but usually they don't last because they get dogged out. Because, like, so for example, you'll have like a nighttime supervisor or evening shift supervisor, and you might have an ADON, you might have a wound nurse, an educational nurse. I'm talking about long-term care because that's what I know, right? But the DON might dictate their job to all these different people. And like, say you're the nurse educator, you got to go around being in compliance with all of that. Maybe you teach CNA classes too, so you got to make sure everybody passes their freaking CNA boards and all that. Then on top of that, hey, we're short tonight. You're on call. You're the manager on duty. You got to come in and work a shift because the nurse isn't here. You work that nighttime shift and you got to turn around and be at a meeting, you know, a manager meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning. Then they want you to stay and do a little bit of work. Then, oh, guess what? Nobody showed up on evening shift, so you got to work evening shift too. Like, it can become so crazy at the top, y'all, that they don't even have the energy or the time to see what the nurses on the floor are doing or what they're not doing. Prime example, LPNs are not supposed to do initial assessments, right? We learned that. If you're in nursing school, you know LPNs cannot do initial assessments. They cannot administer blood products, and they cannot do IV push meds. So any meds below 15 minutes. If it takes less than 15 minutes to push it, you cannot give it as an LPN, right? So when a patient comes in as an admission, do you think they go find an RN, a real nurse, to come and do this assessment? No. Whomever that LPN is, whatever nurse is taking that patient, does that initial assessment, does the care plan, the Brayton scale, the John Hopkins fall assessment. They call the family, they get the cold status, they do all the orders in the computer. You know, in nursing homes, guess what? The nurse has to input every freaking med that this patient gets. They have to get report from the hospital. They have to, I got a video all about admissions. They gotta do all this stuff. Verify the meds with the doctor. Go do a skin assessment. Talk to the patient. If the family there, you gotta sit there and talk with the family the whole damn time. And you still got your own patients you gotta take care of too. And your homegirl over there fell on the floor, and this CNA gotta go home. And oh, it's a cold over here. Oh, and da 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 da. And your man keep texting you about an argument y'all had earlier today. Like, I ain't got time for this. So that happens, right? Do you think that management has the time with whatever they're dealing with? They have the time to come and see if that LPN did the assessment right, put all the orders in right? It be stuff sometimes I be like, where is the audit at? There's like no audit on sometimes admissions. And hold on, y'all. Sometimes there's no audit on the admissions. So it's just like, they don't have time to do their job. The charge nurse doesn't have time to do their job because I just told you what she had to do or what he had to do. And then so the charge nurse on the floor, it's harder for them to then supervise a CNA. If I'm a nurse with 40, 50 patients, do you think that I'm really like, of course I'm gonna be on the CNA like, hey, did you do that? Did you do that? Can you do this? But by the time I even think about who had showers that night, it's already 9 o'clock at night. And I probably still got 3-4 hours worth of work to still do. And anything can still happen until I leave at 11 o'clock. So it's even harder for then the charge nurse to supervise the CNAs. And the CNAs is just out here doing whatever. And on top of that, CNAs it ain't even enough for them. So, you know, it's so hard right now. I forgot what my point was. What was my point about nurses being toxic? What did I say about, what was the point? Oh, management. It starts with management, but also management is dealing with a lot right now, especially some of these DONs and ADONs and supervisors. They think it's going to be one way, and then when they come in, it's a totally different situation. You don't know what you don't know until you get into it. You don't know what you don't know. You looking at the management like, oh, they ain't doing this. They can get out their office and help with this. Why they just about to go home? Shoot. Isn't it nice? But you don't know what they going home with. You don't know who is calling them. You don't know who on their back about something. You don't know. You don't know just how bad it is until you start working. This is why, I should do a whole video about this too, but this is why DONs have like one of the highest freaking turnover rates. I do not know the exact number. I don't know if nobody even got the exact number. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but y'all, stay working at one long-term care facility for a year. See how many DONs they go through in that 1 year. I've only been to 2 places that have kept their DON for longer than a year. 2 places that I know of. And they're the same company, just different locations. Y'all, my nose is so freaking dry. Excuse me. Like, my nose is ridiculously dry with this freaking mask on. My face and breaking out, but we ain't gonna talk about that. We're gonna just move on. But anyways, so that's another reason why nursing is toxic. Another reason why nursing is toxic, and people say this, and I try not to, you know, feed into that because I'm all about girl power. But I was talking to a nurse yesterday, and she said another reason why it's a mess is because it's all women. Like, it's so much cattiness and attitudes and drama because it's just all women in nursing. And I'm just like, I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that the problem is women. I really don't. But there is an observation. I think it's not necessarily that it's just women. It's just that nurses do not protect themselves. You know, you'd be surprised how many states there's like no nursing union. I never even heard of a nursing union in St. Louis. And I've heard of them trying to do it, but like the staff, they fought it because, you know, of course, management is fighting them about getting the union, but nurses are not protected. For nurses to be one of the most, to be in like a very litigious field where people sue you, right? For us to be in a litigious field that's very high stress level, that takes a lot of education, it costs money, it costs a good amount of money to be educated, and regulations and all this stuff, we have no support. Now, I know there's other states that do have support, but here in Missouri, child, we ain't got no support here. There's not a lot of support and advocacy for self in healthcare, at least what I've seen. You all can always chime in and put what you think. I mean, I just only know what I know, right? I don't know what I don't know. So y'all gotta help me out too. Like, comment, and subscribe. Okay. So y'all can cash at me too. You know, graduation coming up. Cash out YourFavNurseB. I'm here for it. But what was I gonna say? I gotta get my PO box back too. I freaking let it lapse. And I keep forgetting to get. I'm gonna give me a PO box. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's just not a lot of protection. And I don't think nurses, we're not taught that we have a choice, that we can choose to say, I'm not going to take care of these patients today. I'm not going to deal with this today. I'm going to take my break today. I'm going to do. We're not taught that we have a choice to do it. And I think with women, instead of us, not all women, but I'm going to say, I'm not going to talk about myself. Sometimes I don't take the initiative to assert myself and to be like, this is what I expect of this situation, or this is what I'm not going to do, or I don't feel comfortable doing this. I don't always feel like I have the right to, you know, push the envelope and be like, I'm not doing this. Because especially as a black woman, then you seen as an angry black woman, or she's hard to deal with. Oh my gosh, everybody else did it. Why can't you do it? Like, what's the problem? Comparing yourself to other people. Or, well, this is how we always do it, so I don't know what to tell you. Or, we don't have the help, so da-da-da-da. Like, it's just assumed that as a nurse, you're supposed to work your ass off. You're getting paid good money. Some of these nurses are not getting paid good money. I'll leave it at that. And, oh, well, you only do this. Oh, well, you only do that. Like, people just, I just saw this guy with his 3 daughters. It's so cute. Oh, he's a girl dad. My husband's a girl dad. He picked out the girls' clothes for school this morning. I saw them like laid out. I was like, look at him. He did a really good job picking out their clothes. Cause y'all, back in the day, child, I was like, what do you have on my baby? Like, this do not go together. But he did a good job picking up their clothes for school today. Anyhow, there's not a lot of nurses need to learn, because I was talking to a nurse today, right? Well, a student, soon to be nurse, and she was like, we were talking about all the issues with healthcare, and she was like, see, this is why I want to get in some type of legal role or something so I can help change some things. And like, as I'm driving, I'm thinking, I'm like, things never change from the top. When has anything ever fucking changed from the top? Things don't change from the top. Things change from the ground up. Nurses have to say, this is what I'm standing for. This is the standard that we are going to accept as the professionals. You need us more than we need you. There's like over 100 different specialties for nurses. There's so many places where nurses can work. We are in control. We have the power. You know how they say like it's a buyer's market or it's a seller's market? Honey, I guess it's, I don't know, the nurses, the buyers or the sellers. Like, I don't know. We the sellers, honey. It's a seller's market, okay? I have the goods that you want, okay? If you want to pay for my services, this is what I expect. And it's not going to change until nurses come together and stop letting bitter, petty shit get to us. Oh, she didn't hang this for me. Oh, this didn't happen. Oh, she left trash in the thing. Oh, they said this about this. Oh, her scrub's too tight. Oh, she got an afro. Oh, like, who cares? But we let the institution pin us against each other, starting all these cliques, all this extra BS, instead of coming together and saying, this is what we stand for as nurses. They let titles, they let LPN or RN or APR, whatever, they let all of that come before, as a nurse, I should get my break. As a nurse, I should get my lunch. Yes, a break and a lunch are two separate things. As a nurse, I should be able to go pee. Okay, as a nurse, I shouldn't have to go all the way on this floor to get this and to get that, and I come in the crash cart. Like, as a nurse, certain things should be a certain way. We are the sellers. Like, this is a seller's market. If you want to purchase my services, something has to be done. And until we all come together as nurses and stop this, well, I did it, so they should be able to do it, or it's not a big deal. All you gotta do is say, oh my gosh, she's so lazy. Like, stop letting that shit get to you. Who cares? Who cares? Is that what's important? Nurses is getting sued left and right. And you over here mad because the nurse punched out the pills in the wrong spot, in the little pill box, the little thing, the little card. You being petty about that. Come on, y'all. We can do better. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. You mad because she thick and she got on some tight scrubs. You mad because she just got her BBL. You mad at her? You mad at her? You mad at her? You can get one too, okay? I'm gonna get a gym body, but you can get one too. So don't be mad at her, okay? Like, who cares? It's the pettiness that just has to stop. The culture has to change. We have to change this culture. In order for anything to change, we have to start it at the ground level. I don't know how. The best way I know how is to do this video and to say that going forward, as a nurse for yourself, you have to set the standard. For me, the standard that I'm setting is I'm setting clear boundaries, that I'm not going to allow the ish that's happening at that job to seep into who I really am as a person and affect the relationships that I care about the most. The relationships that feed me, that feed my soul, honey. I'm not going to let the culture of nursing poison my life, my actual factual life that will be here no matter what I have behind my name, okay? So with that being said, your girl about to go up into Marshall's, okay, child? I've been out here in the parking lot of Marshall's talking to my dang on self. And anybody who need to hear it, heard it. And I love y'all. I'm about to go. Hit me up in the cash app if you want to send me a graduation gift. My P.O. box is not valid. I got a freaking, I feel like Umar Johnson. Do anybody watch Umar Johnson? My husband watches him just to, he watches this other guy who talks about him. He watches him just to laugh at him. Umar Johnson. He be like, hit the cash app, hit the cash app. Yeah, hit the cash, hit the PayPal, hit the PayPal. And you can't get it if you don't ask for it. Okay, so I'm about to go up in here, y'all. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm not doing any of this. I don't do anything to discourage people. Nursing changed my life for the better. I feel like it helped me to be a better person. I feel like it helped to bring out my natural strengths as a person. So I love nursing. I love healthcare, real healthcare. And I love people. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't go into it. I'm not saying that at all. Just saying these are some things to consider. There are certain ways you can get past it, but you're gonna be okay, boo. Trust me. Oh my gosh. I gotta go. I love y'all. And I will see y'all later. And this bra is tight, child. Bye, y'all.